The conference is now in talk mode.
Welcome,
The
everybody.
conference is now in silent mode.
What's that mean? We're good? I can start now?
Skip's on.
Welcome.
No trouble getting it.
All right, thank you. Welcome, everybody. Let me start off with the roll call. Vice Chairman Ken Lawrence. Ken? Tom Babcock?
Here.
Skip Bryan?
Here.
Mike Carroll? Mike? John Cordisco? John? John, you on there? Okay. Mark Dambley?
Here.
Rob Fox? Rob? Senator Greenleaf? Stewart?
I'm here.
Okay. Kevin Johnson? I can see your face, Kevin.
Here.
All right. John Kane? Obra Canova? Obra said he's gonna be a little late, didn't he? He's on. Obra, you on there? All right, Bill Leonard?
Here.
Debbie Mailer?
Here.
Representative Topol? All right,
Here.
we got a quorum, so let's go on. The other guys will join us as we go along. Who's on? I got Marcy. All right, let's start off with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America,
and to the
to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under indivisible, liberty, and justice.
Thank you, everybody. The board met in executive session just prior to this meeting to discuss legal matters. We'd like to thank everyone for joining us today at our virtual board meeting. I would like to start off by thanking Representative Topol for her service on this board. Marcy is retiring from the House. This is her final meeting with us. Marcy, it's been a pleasure to work with you. I am going to miss you. Your insight in Harrisburg has been, well worth the time we spent with you, and I'm going to wish you nothing but the best in the future. So thank you, Marcy, and hopefully we'll see you around at some time.
Thank you, Chairman.
Okay, as you know, we're in the midst of the major surge in the COVID-19 cases. SEPTA employees are continuing to work tirelessly to make sure residents have access to essential jobs and services. While these efforts get more challenging by the day, I'm inspired at SEPTA's frontline workers and their commitment to serving the riders who need transit the most. We're continuing to plan for the eventual recovery, but SEPTA is facing unprecedented financial challenges, and they're only going to grow as the COVID-19 cases rise. We are carefully managing our finances, including Federal CARES Act funds, to ensure that we can provide the service to the region needs for as long as possible. However, there are difficult decisions that we must consider as we begin to develop next year's budget. The board does not take these matters lightly, and we will be engaging our riders and stakeholders as we move through the process. We know how difficult this year has been for our customers. That's why the board voted this spring to delay proposed fare increases until January. And next month, I will ask the board to consider pushing back that again until July. I'd like to thank everyone who has been joining us for these virtual meetings and staying engaged. We hope you will continue as we move forward. First item on the agenda is the minutes and the approval of October 22nd. The board met in the board read the I'll entertain a motion to adopt these minutes.
So moved. Tom Babcock.
Is there a second?
Second.
Bill, okay. I'll call the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes are approved. We'll move on to our financial report. Rich?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the month of October, operating revenue was $27.8 million under budget, with transit ridership remaining at 30% of pre-COVID levels and regional rail ridership at approximately 15% of pre-COVID levels. Operating expenses for the month were under budget by $2.1 million due to labor and fuel costs below budget. With the allocation and utilization of federal CARES funding, there was a budget surplus of $300,000 for the month, and year-to-date there is a small surplus of $200,000. Mr. Chairman, this concludes my report.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion that financial report be received and filed.
Moved.
So moved.
Moved and seconded. I'll entertain them. I'll say, any comments? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The October financial report is received and filed. Please note that all written comments and voicemail messages have been received and will be included in the official board meeting transcript, which will be then posted to the SEPTA website. We have no speakers on today's agenda. We'll move on to the consent calendar, which consists of new lease agreement with the City of Philadelphia pertaining to the renewal of leasing of total of 122,664 square feet on the 15th, 16th, 17th, and 18th floors and rear plaza of SEPTA's headquarters building at 1234 Market Street. Authorization to award a contract for procurement, award of contracts for sole source procurements, authorization to execute change orders and amendments. Please note that item 1D, authorization to execute change order and amendments, was revised. A copy of the revised resolution has been provided to the board. The remaining items on the consent calendar have been reviewed by the appropriate board committees in public session. I'll entertain a motion to adopt these resolutions.
So moved.
Moved and seconded. Any abstentions? Any discussion? Hearing none.
Chairman, I'm sorry, Deb Mahler, I'd like to abstain.
So noted. Any
Thank
others?
you.
Okay, I'll call the question. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
With one abstention.
Aye.
All right, the report of the general manager. Come on, Leslie.
Thank you, Chairman. With rising positive COVID-19 cases in the region, I want to assure you that SEPTA is prepared, both for our customers and our employees. Transit remains essential business, and we will continue to operate every day. Our frontline employees are essential workers, and they will continue the critical work that they have been doing every single day since this pandemic started. And we truly appreciate their heroic efforts on keeping our region moving. They've been cleaning around the clock and ensuring that all safety precautions are in place. Unfortunately, our current reality is facing two crises at once, one from the pandemic and one financial. Ridership on transit is down 70% from pre-pandemic levels in October. Regional rail is worse, 85% fewer riders than usual. SEPTA continues to lose $1 million a day, and that loss will continue for the foreseeable future. We received federal CARES funding, which is helpful, and we have spent nearly $150 million of that funding. We are expecting an operating revenue shortfall of $350 million by the end of fiscal year in June. And without more federal relief for the pandemic or long-term funding solutions, extreme measures are on the table. They include service cuts, layoffs, and fare increases. I cannot state clearly enough that every option will be considered, cuts and other changes. We simply cannot afford to approach it in any other way. SEPTA is not alone in this predicament. Every public transit agency is in the same situation. We're all looking at reductions in service and layoffs, and some have even announced that they may have to shut down completely. No final decisions have been made, but it is important to sound this alarm. Changes are coming. We do recognize we're an essential service. We know that we're the sole means of transportation for so many. We take that responsibility very seriously. We know that we do very important work. As Chairman Dion said, we do not take these matters lightly, and we will engage our customers and all of our stakeholders in this process. There will be no surprises. As the general manager, leading SEPTA at this time is very challenging. And while we're facing challenges every single day, I do want to share with you some very positive things. And this week, I would like to call out a few of our employees that we were able to recognize for doing outstanding customer service. And while we officially recognized a dozen of our employees this week, there are 4 with us today. Coach cleaner Lenora Lilly, who showed outstanding compassion when a passenger coming from Florida boarded the train in shorts and shirt with no jacket. Leona offered the passenger the lining of her coat and later brought him a pair of gloves as well. Thank you so much, Lenora. Customer service agent Chantel Graves is known for her kindness and consideration. When a mom worried she wasn't going to make it to pick up her child from daycare on time, Chantel paid out of her own pocket for the panicked mother's bus fare, and she is a true model of all of our SEPTA customer service reps. EM&C, which is Engineering, Maintenance, and Construction employee Kurt Santos, was a real hero for one Jenkintown family whose dog got loose and ran down the tracks. Kurt was making a pickup at the Jenkintown substation in his utility truck, heard a stranger calling after the dog, spotted the dog, and caught him. After calming the dog, he loaded him into his truck and brought him home to his very grateful family. And station manager Donna Sizer, who demonstrated exceptional customer service to a distressed family at 30th Street Station, working with them for over an hour to help them get back to their home in Lancaster after the Amtrak train was canceled. Thank you. Thank you, Donna, Kurt, Chantel, and Lenora. These stories were shared with us by the people who were recipients of these employees' kindness. I know that this happens every day on our system, and we don't always know all of these stories, but we really do appreciate our customers letting us know, and we appreciate the opportunity to recognize these special employees. Our employees make me and make everyone here at SEPTA extremely proud. And during these difficult times with difficult decisions ahead of us, it is really our honor to recognize you today, and thank you for your continued work under these extraordinary circumstances. And that concludes my report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Leslie. I would want to thank also, the leadership you've shown here over the pandemic and how this staff has pulled together again. And now we're heading into another phase of it. I think it's important to recognize that the hard decisions are hard on everybody. And I appreciate your guys' effort here to make at least the board's life a little more knowledgeable on how we're going to handle this. So thank you. We have 4 speakers, right, Carol? Okay, we'll start off with Ann Hunter. Miss Hunter? She on the phone? No? Okay, move on to Yasha Sonarkelk.
Hi, Chairman Dion. You had it right last time, but it's all right.
It's a slow day here.
No worries. No worries. Feel free to always just say Yasha Z is perfectly all right.
I will remember that. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Dion. Good afternoon. As Chairman Dion already mentioned, my name is Yasha Zarenkelk. I'm the coalition organizer of Transit Forward Philadelphia. And today I'm joined by a few of our 24 coalition member organizations to sound the alarm, as Leslie already said, about impending service cuts due to SEPTA's financial outlook, which was highlighted this week in the Philadelphia Inquirer. I want to express my appreciation for General Manager Richard's courage in sharing with the Inquirer that every option must be considered, including service cuts and administrative efficiencies. I also want to say thank you for understanding the seriousness of this issue. And each of us in attendance today shares an understanding of the importance of transit to the economic and social well-being of our region. TFP also appreciates Ms. Richards speaking truthfully that our riders may not know what SEPTA's future holds for them. It's time for the authority to share the challenges ahead and difficult decisions that may be required. Transit agencies across the nation are having this conversation with the public, generally irrespective of how much pandemic relief funding they have remaining. Members of our coalition are here today to share an agenda for the board. These realities are too important to not be discussed with our riders. In August, Ms. Richards shared a potential outcome with the House Transportation Committee. Just as Transit Center modeled in their research, the potential cuts that the general manager shared with the House Transportation Committee are lopsided against Black and Brown communities. The research shows that transit cuts would fall most heavily on Black residents and people of color. Black residents make up 20% of the region, but 44% of those would lose access to frequent full-day service. Non-white and Hispanic residents make up 30% of the region, but 65% of those would lose access to frequent full-day service. Discussing this with the House Transportation Committee, but not our riders at the time, was a serious issue. There's enough uncertainty in these times, but we must plan ahead and work together to shape the outlook to the brightest future that resources will allow. Transit Forward Philadelphia looks forward to working with all of you to ensure that SEPTA is on track to navigate these difficult times. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Yasha Z. We're going to need the help in Harrisburg and the federal side, so I appreciate your support. Move on to Benjamin Shee.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right, cool. Yes, my name is Ben Shi. I'm with Fifth Square, a coalition member of Transit Forward Philadelphia. We appreciate SEPTA's stated commitment to maintain current levels of transit service through fiscal year 2021. However, this is predicated on significantly more lost ridership coming back or a federal transit bailout, neither of which match models in the recovery plan. We need SEPTA to judiciously plan for modified future service based on today's ridership conditions and a long-term ridership outlook. At the minimum, this means establishing clear standards for decision-making, principles that are transparently vetted with the public. That can be done now without specific funding scenarios. One peer agency, Boston's MBTA, has seen ridership losses virtually identical to SEPTA since the pandemic. Yet instead of simply making vague assurances, they have begun extensive public discussion on their reduced service plan, called Forging Ahead. Their plan, based on their frequency service standards, is designed to prioritize service to the essential communities and workers that rely on transit. They also give financial estimates to the operating funding that will be required to restore lost service, crucial to articulating needs for a transit bailout. These public hearings over 9 different subregions are certainly painful, but they represent an honest, transparent effort from MBTA to work with the public through difficult times, instead of unilaterally making decisions behind closed doors. This will also ensure that no rider making essential trips is left unheard during future planning. The SEPTA funding situation is so much better than MBTA's that this effort is not needed here. The reality is, even if SEPTA gets all the funding we need or want, we can't keep running the same service and during the same projects. We've been losing ridership precipitously on trolley and bus service for years before the pandemic, and regional rail will take a very, very long time to recover. We must demonstrate learning and realign our services and projects now. SEPTA needs to hope for the best but prepare for the worst, and the riders must be involved in the process. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shee. Cameron Adamez.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right. Good afternoon. My name is Cameron Adamez. I'm with Fifth Square, a coalition member of Transit Forward Philadelphia. As you are intimately aware, SEPTA is facing an operating budget deficit of approximately $1 million a day. We hope that SEPTA will not have to make service cuts. As General Manager Richards has said before, without SEPTA, grocery stores' shelves don't get stocked, hospitals don't get cleaned, and the sick are not cared for. Speaking as a manager at a grocery store near a subway line and several bus stops, I would like to see all of our staff be able to come to work. That said, we must plan ahead. The numbers warn of a catastrophic future, and the longer that we fail to act, the sooner that it will come. Any service cuts cannot be categorical or unconditional, like a cut to weekend or overnight services. If service cuts are to happen, the decisions must be data-driven and in line with the network design strategies of CBNR. But we are not prepared to make nuanced decisions. I'd like to ask the board for the second consecutive month to restore Wi-Fi immediately at the bus depots, still down from the August malware attack. This will allow buses to download their passenger count data. This data should be available to the public and posted by route on the SEPTA website as in years past. Transparency is important during these uncertain times. Public participation to comment on any proposed service cuts should be made possible by the agency. We are grateful for the service of the board members and the leadership of the authority. We will be counting on you to provide this information to ensure the trust of riders in light of any difficult decisions ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We're looking at the malware issue for the Wi-Fi coming back soon since we have the foundation in.
It's on the list, Mr. Chairman.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Gina. Benjamin, this is going to be another one. Atomaziani. Benjamin?
Close. It's Aitumisian, but thank you.
Atumisan. Can I call you Benjamin A?
Sure. Yep.
Thank you. There we go. Thank you. You're on.
Okay. Hey, everyone. My name is Benjamin Ayutumisyan. I'm with the SEPTA Youth Advisory Council, a member organization of the Transit Forward Philadelphia Coalition. During these difficult times, we must continue our long-range planning efforts, and we ask the board to keep your commitment to approving the bus network redesign consultant at next month's board meeting. Before COVID, SEPTA's bus ridership hit its lowest numbers in nearly 20 years. Now, CBNR is critical for SEPTA's financial and mission recovery. Our communities cannot wait while our bus networks lose riders. The board has an important first step to complete over the next month. It's been 2 years since the Choices report recommending a bus redesign has been released, and over 9 months have passed since SEPTA began the hiring process for a consultant. It's time for SEPTA to honor its original commitment of hiring a consultant that the board can vote on and approve at the December 2020 board meeting. SEPTA has had plenty of time to advance this project, and with the holidays approaching and uncertainty on the future of COVID, it's time to bring the selection process to a resolution. Thank you for each of your attention to this important issue.
Thank you, Benjamin. And we're working on that as we speak, right, Leslie? So,
Yep, it is moving forward as we speak, but I think it'll be the January meeting. Is that correct, Jody?
We're working on December, but it could be January.
Okay, well,
can't tell you
we'll,
for certain.
we'll try for December then.
we have a lot of planning people here, so we should be able to get that done. So thank you. Thank you for joining the meeting today, everybody. If there are any further comments or questions, I'll entertain a motion. The meeting be adjourned.
Motion.
I would add one thing, that John Cordisco was on the meeting, so he can put it on record for our guys, okay? So thank you, guys. We're adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.